Where I'm from, there's a story told of a woman that had twins at birth, and unfortunately, she had to be separated from them immediately after she had them for unknown reasons. And one of her sons went to a family in Egypt. He was adopted right away, and the other went to Mexico. And the Egyptian family named their child Amal, and the Mexican family named the other boy Juan. And once the kids grew up and they grew normal lives, both of them they were perfectly fine. And Amal, he always started questioning where he was from. His mother, he started noticing that he was different from his siblings, that they weren't as adopted as he was, and they he wasn't looking like his parents. They didn't have the same facial cues or genetics or anything, and that really started to bother him. He started trying to dig a little deeper into why it might be like this, and one night he came up to his then adopted parents, and he started bringing out the question, maybe where I'm from. And they try to play it off, not tell him that, oh, you're just a little different, a little this oddball out of the batch, no big deal. But he wasn't convinced. And after a while, his adopted parents, they figured it was time to tell him the truth, and they did. And he wasn't upset. He thought about it, and it was true. So he asked them if he can somehow get a hold of his birth mother, because he was a little older at the time, and maybe 18 or 19. And he got a hold of her. He found out where she was, and he went out there and visited her. Amal did. And he comes out there and visits his mother, and she was rejoicing because she hasn't seen them since they were born. And at that point, they met each other. They cried, they laughed, they talked about all their stories. And after a short time, Amal left to go back home. And then once his birth mother let him go, and she turned to his real father and said, man, I really wish that I got to see both of them, not just one. And then the father turns to her and says, well, once you've seen Juan, you've seen them all.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, right? It was low blow.
7 minutes, haha.
So I have a better story than this guy. Uh, so much better. So if you guys already know it, like my group, I may have told you it. Just okay. So there was once a boy. Maybe not a boy because boys are usually like 9, 10. So he was more like 18. So I'd say a young man. And at 18, when you're in high school, there's a thing called the prom. So you take a girl out, and it's like very nice, right? And so with this guy, I don't know what kind of name, Divchata, what kind of name? I heard Alex first. So
Juan.
let's say
Juan. Juan.
What?
Juan.
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 Okay, let's do Juan, just to keep this guy's identity a secret. Juan. So Juan is he's a good lad, and he's like, okay, prom is in a week. I have to get find a girl and go on a date or on this prom date. And so he's like, okay, who should I pick? Well, he doesn't want a cheerleader who's all looks but no character, guys. So pay attention. If she has looks but no character, just don't bother. So he's like, okay, who do I know? Well, when he was a child, he had a childhood like friend, and she was very nice. She was good qualities, and he's like, okay, I'll ask her because that's a safe bet. You can never go wrong with a girl. good
Can
girl.
can
Okay.
you list off some of those qualities?
What?
Can you list off some of those qualities?
I don't. I can't hear this guy. He's half
Can
asleep.
you list off some of those qualities, please?
List off. Okay. You guys want a few qualities? So, good jokes. For example, she has to be nice. She has to be. She has to be caring, right? If she doesn't care for anything and just, that's bad. Secondly, so Juan was a Christian, and it's good to have a Christian girl because, not because she just loves God, but because both of you will have the same mindset. If you marry somebody who's not a Christian, it's very hard to get along with him, and honestly, it may not work out. So it's good to have the same mindset, be Christian. And let's see, a third quality.
Good sense of humor.
A sense of humor. Yeah, sense of humor. Life is not good when it's all boring, right? So, like Tim here, I mean, that sense of humor, I don't know. Anyways, so he's like, okay, this girl. And guys, what should we name this girl? Okay, I hear Lisa more. 'Kay.
Lauren.
Shh, guys, quiet, 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 quiet. So Lisa, so this guy, Juan, he's like, okay, I'm gonna ask Lisa, and so he picks a day. He's like, okay, Monday is bad because it's the first day of the week. It's probably weird. So he's like, okay, Tuesday. The Tuesday before the prom, I'll ask her. And he's like, I'm not gonna make it special. I'm not gonna make it like very like how people do it like in this high school during lunch. They make it all, he doesn't want to make it a show. He wants it to be very personal and very private. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna come up to the door of her house and just ring it and ask her, to this prom. And so he goes there on Tuesday, and the dad opens the door. He's like thinking, oh no, what's gonna happen? Like, this is not gonna happen.
The
Shouldn't
dad's
happen.
the worst.
Yeah. And so the dad's like, oh, so you want to go on prom with my daughter, and tell me good reasons why. He's like, well, I'm very careful. I don't drive fast. I drive slowly. I drive by the speed limit. So don't worry, it's going to be okay. Like, I'll drive her there. I'll drive her back. Everything will be fine. I'm also very responsible. I've worked for a job now for a year and a half. It's minimum wage, but at least I worked there. I'm responsible, show up there, do my stuff, and the dad's like, okay, fine. And so, he gets a chance to ask her. She says yes, and he's like, happy. Okay. So, Saturday, right? Saturday night, he's like, okay, I'm going to have to go and pick her up. And he's like, I want to make it special. So he buys 12 roses. And so, Juan, he drives, what is a bad car, guys? A bad car.
A Subaru.
Lada. Okay, let's go. Let's go with a Lada. He drives a Lada, and he's like, okay, I don't want to embarrass myself. So he asks his dad, because his dad drives a very cool car. What's a cool car? Lambo. Okay. Shh. Quiet. So there's two options, Lambo or Mercedes. So for... Okay, quiet. Okay, Mercedes. So he asks his dad, hey, Dad, can I borrow your Mercedes? I want to make an impression. And the dad's like, well, I know you drive by the speed limit. You won't go over. You won't crash. You won't put your life in risk. Okay, I'll let you drive the Mercedes. So he finally gets a Mercedes, gets his tux, cleans it very well because he's... he doesn't just, let his hair grow out and, doesn't take a shower. He's a very clean person. Right, guys? Right? So, he gets to the house and, he rings the doorbell, right? He sees her, gives her the 12 roses. It's so romantic and beautiful. They go to the prom. And, about half an hour in, everybody's having fun. They saw their friends and their classmates, and it's the usual. James is like bored because he knows it's pretty boring there, right? But don't worry, there's a point to the story. So, half an hour in, he's like, okay, I really want to make an impression. I want to do something for this young lady, for Lisa, right? And so he's like, hey, Lisa, do you want a drink or something? And Lisa's like, okay, I might go for some punch, just get the Hawaiian punch over there. And he's like, okay, I'll get the Hawaiian punch. And he goes to where they serve the Hawaiian punch, and there's an issue. Something that, like, this thing, like this hindrance, this, I don't know, it like can throw off this whole, his whole planning, his whole, the preparation, asking the dad. There's just one thing. And the one thing is that there is no punchline.